Dumelang ko gae ra le amogela gape mo lenaneong le lengwe la Rise. Rape continues to be a crisis in our country, and we must continue to address it. This is what we're speaking about this evening. Welcome to my co-host. How are you this evening?
Hello.
This is a very, very big issue in our community, just simply because it seems like a vast majority of Yabasadi Bamo South Africa have had one experience or another with the issue of rape. Such a crime to be so prevalent in our lives.
First of all, I don't think Kolale an excuse for rape. You know, because some of the times, particularly the excuse like, oh, she provoked me because na pere a short skirt. But then kapele masia a rape you, lesia le go provoke yang, you know. And I think it's from that culture and religion. Ya bulela banna and boys, you know what, le superior to women. So kanneira so se batlang ka mosadi, and it's a thing of it's almost as if babele banna as the security guard, you know, so that if mosadi a tswa mo tseleng by ga parapila or ga buitsone or we ra dilo tse re sa di allowing mo setsong, then wena as monna you can put her into line, and part of that putting into line ke rape.
Into I understand ukuthi kwaZulu there's a reed dance. Siyazi ukuthi amantombazana ayahlolwa and uma uhlola awugcoki, you know, you hardly have something else to cover up phambili, but then your breasts are out and everything is out. Mara uma uza la edrobheni uma ugcoke something short, it means ukuthi uzibizela ukudlengulwa.
That's an important question, Bali. You know, we live in a patriarchal society that says a man must control a woman, and a woman, particularly their sexuality and their bodies, must be controlled. So we are controlling. The woman, it's acceptable in society ukuthi ungaveza umzimba womfazi in this context, but you cannot do it in that context.
Yeah, when you're checking her virginity,
exactly,
you can look at her body.
All of that is about control, and you will realize ukuthi even when the humiliation happens, it's not only even to control this woman, but it's also to control what is acceptable behavior yabafazi, what is not acceptable behavior yabafazi, and we do it by violence. And we accept violence against women because we have taken women as sexual objects, that they don't have their own agency. And often when we display violence against women, it speaks to a weakness in the person who is exerting that violence against women. The problem is because now that violence has become a norm in society.
You know, a man will do this to you and you need to find out, you need to know. You know,
is it really about not saying no assertively? I mean, what kind of a no is no? It's got two alphabets. There's an N and an O.
No is no.
And no
sometimes
must be...
you have to be assertive.
No must be no. And even in your marriage, even in your relationship, there are times you don't want to have sex.
Isn't what then I suspect that what you might be talking about in Bali and Lebo is the fact that basadi ga ba rotloetswe gore ba be assertive when it comes to issues of sex. So culturally, you may be encouraged gore even if you are likely or want to experience something sexually, you're not supposed to ever say yes. Right?
But I guess we are talking about something else. I think for me, the danger is thinking that rape is about sex. Right. Rape is violence. It's just, you know, it's about somebody enforcing their power on you. So it can never be seen about lemusadi, because there's other people who are like that. There's other people. So what happens when a man comes to you, okay, and they hold a gun to your head, and they say, "You dare move or make a sound"? How do you say no assertively? In that
but
instance?
then they're not even asking you at that point.
That is why I am saying it is not even about sex. It's about violence.
Yes, very much. Rape is very much about violence.
It's violence, you know. So it is somebody making you do something against your will and really assaulting you in a manner that, you know, really is, I want to violate you and I want to strip you down.
And is it still rape if it happens within a relationship, Khomotso?
Absolutely. It is possible for somebody that you are in love with, somebody you are on a date with, somebody that you are married to rape you. obviously complication becomes sort of like moving forward, or to even report, never mind reporting somebody o ile gore o nna le ena, even makhelwane or somebody o moitseng e awkward tabe. So it's not like tabe easy long gore like o kare ke tlo go reporta, because it changes maphelo a everybody who's concerned.
I think it's what makes it complex also for young people is the fact that we don't acknowledge that young people are having sex. So you go out on this date, you are having sex, you are having sex, and then you say no. You know, you were in this boy's room, or let's say together, and then he forces himself on you. It is still a crime. It is rape.
When we were growing up, most of us, our first sexual experience was actually rape by your boyfriend. It was almost expected, because men were told, as a girl, you're told never say yes. So you never say yes. And it brings me back to that funny gray area that we have to acknowledge. I know it's about violence and sex, but there are some gray areas, because you're never ever supposed to say yes. Sometimes, even if you do want to have sex, you're kind of compelled to give a weird little no, so that you are never that girl who's ever caught saying yes to sex, which is rubbish. And that's why we need to teach young girls that when you want it, you need to be able to say yes, and if you don't, then you say no, so that no really means no.
But more than young girls, we need to train our boys to say whichever no. Even if it's because you want to look like a goody two shoes.
Right.
No, it's no. It's
Don't
got two
take-
alphabets.
Yeah.
Don't say, but no, ya gage, one are
Don't
no,
guess.
mara a smile.
Don't guess.
Because here's the thing. You can, as a woman, be wet, even when it's rape. You can get an orgasm when it's rape.
Because
it
the body
doesn't
ya
mean,
gago e
because
reactang.
that's a biological reaction. It doesn't mean you enjoyed it.
Right.
So how your body reacts and what you say. So more than saying to young women, be clear or not be clear, I wish each and every man who is watching understands that a no, even when somebody says, I'm not sure, please take it as a no.
As a no, yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And don't forget, Jorge, it's not just men who violate us when this happens. Other women also tend to join in the frame, which is a whole other discussion that we'll have. Don't go away. Morago ga papatso, re tla be re bua le Bafana Khumalo le Mpho Mabena from Sonke Gender Justice. O ska feel.
Welcome back. Mbali and Khomotso are joined on the couch by Bafana Khumalo and Mpho Mabene from Sonke Gender Justice. Over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Khanyi, and welcome to you, Bafana and Mpho. But before we talk to you, our team went to Bloemfontein in the Free State to speak to a RISE Young Women's Club member, Malifu Mojaki. Here's her story.
Lebitso la ka ke Malifu Mojaki, ke na le 19, ke ile ka reipuwa.
Nele ka diwani ke nyueng. So na gona na go betse ntse re enjoyile re metse selemo se gawe.
Ka letsatsi leo ke la ka latuwa ke mogotsi wa ka wa moshemane. Then ka re ya ha bone ka ile le obutwa hae le uswa hae le bagotsi ba hae. Then ka fitla obuto wa hae ampha ntho go ampha glass go ke nwe ntho e ka glasseng eo. Ha ke khutla toilet ka ke kgathetse ke hopoletse tsetse mara ka hopola ho etsetse mmana ne ke se rege ma a ke hopola frele ke la ka dula sofeng then ona nlatilang ha rona go onkisitse bedroom o swa ka khatla mo ka bona bone ke tsamile nako telela ha rona ha ke khutli ha o swa ka bula ka mo le monna wa hae o fumana moshemane o a nhlobodisitse a le ka odumaka
Malifu ka robetse a sa utlwineks ene a utlwaneks o tlile a jere Malifu ke boyfriend ya moradi wa ka tla mo ka ke se fitla ba mlatlela ruma beta ebile mama e ke re Malifu ke o rapiwe Malifu shuli sa fitla la ka go ya Malifu robetse Malifu ne le ntho fela on go rona robetse fela sa asa o sa etsa le next ka ena
ya jere e etsaitse ka diwana ka dithutse career spetlele then ba bantse ka ntho HIV le pregnancy ba re ke ya hape ka di9 ka letsatsi leo ha ne re tswa spetlele ka re sa ya maponeseng hoba ba lampotsa gore ke bula case na ka ke tlha ke ga ha ke bule because hape ha ko polo ho etsetseng
ka Malefo kore go jene se kanto and le wena go jo no tseba na o etsa etseng go ne ke tlo bona gona re kana ra bula case yole taba ke gore Malefo na sa tsebe na o etsa etseng
o swa ka lantsa potsa hangata for ka hopola na ke rape jwanong ka sa ndule hantle hape ntho eo ke batho ba dulang haufi le community ya ka bantsi ba ha ba tshwaro hore ke ba bona ha ke ba bona ne ke dula ke lla ke sa khone o ba rege jwalo ka mara no so ha ke ba bona ha itle haholo because ha ke sa tsa mastrateng haholo ha ke sa ba bona haholo ka mora ntho e etsale ke nana hore ke fumane support from community because ba dula ba mplela for ntho e etsetseng ha se phose ya ka ha ona ntho e phose ke entse mo then ka bana ba kerekeng ya rona ba re ke counseling ya mme ana kena ke re a kena ke re ke le rona ka phase 4 ke ile ka ya counseling ke ile matsatsi a marago ka mora se etsaetseng ha ke sa tshepa bashimana haholo bana o tla le baole ke ba tlwaetse jole ba entse ntho ngwe ke etsang gore ke sa tlotse ke tshepa bashima kapa batho ba bontate le baka le etsang gore ke bue ka ntho na gore ke nana ha ke bua ka yone ke tlo le bala ka speed hape e tlo thusa batho ba bang ba kileng ba situation se ne ke le ho sona.
You know, Malefo and her mom are very brave, and I really want to thank them on behalf of all of us for taking this big stance. I wish I could say this was an exceptional case, but it's not. It happens to thousands and thousands of young women and young men in this country. King driver rape in South Africa.
I think it is patriarchy, power and control, which is a major challenge in our society. The troubling thing konaka story sa Malefo is that nona le motho moholo mo ntlong ye ba monisitseng ntho ba monisitseng yona it's related to dilo tse ba reng ke di dead rape mo ba unisa di chemicals and what have you. That's a clear case of rape. What disappoints me, of course, and I understand Malefo's case, but I think she should have reported the case because there's a lot of evidence that could have been adduced from what was in her body, how it happened. The fact that Asa Hupula Selo does not make it not executable. So that's the sad part about it. But I think we need to have more sessions where we teach people about these things so that indeed they can take action on these matters.
Yeah. Bafana, you mentioned that it was clearly rape.
Rape is to actually force yourself on somebody against their will. When a person, I mean, in the case of Malibu, if we can go back, she had never consented to any sexual intercourse with anybody. I know some people will argue that, no, why did she go to that house? She obviously had a relationship with this boy. A relationship does not mean you can have sex at demand, you know. Relationships are about negotiations. They are about everybody agreeing. Uma sivumelana ukuthi siyathandana sekufika isikhathi ukuthi sesingayo ucansini kufanele uvume uyivumele wena ngoba uthanda ngakho ke uma ngabe kukhona ukungabaza kufanele nami njengomuntu wesilisa ngivimbe lokho ukuthi singaqhubekeli phambili ngoba kusho kona ukuthi mhlawumbe ubudlelwano obekethabu akafika ezingeni lokuthi singaze siye kulelo zinga lokuthi siye ucansini.
Ngisokola ngayo ukuthi if it's not penetration, is it rape?
Well, it could be attempted rape if there is an intention ukuthi umuntu akudlwengule. Angithi kuzobonakala ngama steps awathathayo. Of course, in terms of law, they would then define that very clearly. Kodwa uma ngabe umuntu kuyenzeka ukuthi umuntu afune ukurape kodwa ahluleke ngani ngoba mhlawumbe umshini awusebenzi kahle. Yeah? Ngoba ukufisa nokwenza kufani.
So usimpo ukaribela gore lona ko sonke umsebenzi wenu yini?
Okay, Tina, as Sonke Gender Justice, what we do is our main focus really is working with men and boys because I need to say in South Africa there's a lot of rape. and there's a lot of sexual violence, nabo assault, nabo molestation. So what we want to do is to give amadoda information. Ngoba you find that esikhathini esiningi, women had a lot of information. They'll have workshops, they'll have everything. But on the other side, amadoda had nothing. So tina ezisonke, we do workshops, we do community dialogues, and interventions, awareness on the street, just to give the community the information.
From labantu enisebenze nabo, would you say ukuthi amadoda aya understand ukuthi yini ukudlenga umfazi or bacabanga ukuthi basuke bayenza into right?
To be honest, amadoda, they do know, but they don't want to know at the same time. Ngoba earlier on, there was this talk ukuthi indoda may say if iyarepha umntong umfazi azothi no, she said no. And then there's a difference between me saying no and no. Yeah. Both of them basho ukuthi no. So men will find ukuthi they'll say but uthe no, and she was kancane. Kusho ukuthi bekafuna ngoba if bekangafuni bekazothi no.
Emva kweli careful so sixoxa kabanzi ngale ndaba ningayi ndawo. We'll be right back.
And a topic is very difficult. It's a very, very tough one about rape. And we're still speaking to Mpho Lebafana. Mpho, I wanted to ask you, are there things that are definite do's and don'ts the rape victim need to know?
Okay, rape is something that is very, very traumatic. And the first thing is really to get support. Once it can be a friend or a family member, but once you have that support, then you'll have courage your reporter. The other thing that is a definitely no-no is you mustn't wash your body after being raped. As painful as it is, but you just need to not wash your body. But what you can do is utole new clothing that you can wear to go to the police station and report. And then the other thing is, it is a definitely no-no, is ukufaka izigqoko zakho inside a plastic bag. Because if you put it in a plastic bag, the plastic becomes moist and then it destroys the evidence into ezifana nabo DNA. So it's better to use a paper bag. Yes, even in newspaper, sure. That's another thing.
And why because it's so important. It must be the most difficult thing that you have to endure, because that means sitting in hours in this person's filth, basically, and you feel awful and dirty. So what's important is that you can't wash because it removes evidence. Yes. Is that right?
Critical evidence.
Critical evidence.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you have DNA, as Mpho is saying, that is incontrovertible. You can't argue against that in court. It actually helps with the conviction rate. It doesn't mean that when it is not there, you can't get convicted. But I think when you have it, the case is much more stronger.
Okay. And you can also, from what I understand, you can also charge the person not just with the rape, but yes, with infecting you.
Yes. In case there are other related consequences from that rape. Yeah.
Manje kenzakalani if ngidlengelwe ebusuku and akunamateksi ukuthi ngaya ngiyoreporta emaphoyiseni ngiyenza kanjani mase kunjalo?
If it marks ebusuku, if you have a friend or someone that you really trust that maybe has a transport and the support, they can take you to the hospital, because esibhedlela nakho you can then get izinto ezifana nabo post-exposure prophylaxis, sure, so that you can, at least before you report, at least uthola in assistance to prevent you from HIV, even unwanted pregnancy, and you also get to have an HIV test, so that if you are found negative, and then when you finish the course PEP, and then you find that you are positive, then that perpetrator, if atholakala, can also be charged for infecting you with the HIV. And the other important thing is that even if you don't want to open a case, they do give you PEPs. Because you remember that earlier on I said it's a traumatic experience. So uthole ukuthi umuntu usafuna uqala abe a bit settled, so that they can then later on report the case. So you take them for a month.
Okay.
I'm a post-exposure prophylaxis.
For 1 month?
For 1 month,
Okay.
yes.
And
But it's critical that you take them within 72 hours.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Because
So
that's the
timing is
critical stage
important.
for infection.
So
yeah.
after 3 weeks,
Yeah,
you have to
yeah,
take them within 72
yeah,
hours.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
important.
There is what we call Itutuzela Care Center that has been implemented throughout the country. They are open 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's unfortunate that there are not as many as they are, although we'd want to have more.
In fact, the Tutuzela Care Centers, the advantage is that you don't go to a police station, because there's been also secondary victimization to people who went to the police station. Umuntu uzofika lapha bambuze bogqokeni, why were you wearing a miniskirt? Why did you go to the tavern? Why did you drink with him?
And akuna privacy.
Akuna privacy.
You're telling
Ukhuluma
everybody
charge
now.
office, there are other people abazela izinto zabo lapho. So iTutuzela Care Center is usually located in a hospital. And it's called Tutuzela because it's meant really to tutuzela the victim. It's got all the services in one place. You have social workers, you have health workers there, you have prosecutors. The police come to you there to collect all this information. So the environment is much more conducive to deal with a situation of trauma. Because as Umpo has said, I mean, I can't imagine anything worse than rape, that violates you almost in your person in the most brutal way. So to have those support systems right early on is the beginning of the healing process. And then you have victim empowerment programs that are usually located in police stations. And there you have police that have been trained in sexual offenses, who understand what needs to happen. Uma ngabe kulo area kuna Tutuzela Care Center, for instance, mawufika uthi kunalesimo esiso, an ordinary policeman does not take the case. Uzobiza the person relevant, who takes you to a private room, who will then do the interview in a very way that is able not to re-traumatize you, and then akuthathe yena ngemoto akuyise to a service point where you must get the other services.
And by the way, this Tutuzela Care Center, there's an app that you can download by downloading first Mix It Reach, Mix It Reach, and then go into TCC, and it tells you about how do I stay safe over the holidays. It tells you exactly what TCCs are, where to find a TCC near to you, very important, what to do if you are raped, and what to do if it's a friend or a relative that is raped. It's a really invaluable application that I would recommend to everybody, male or female, because sometimes it's not you, but the person that you know who may be violated.
Sometimes rape is rape against a boy, by the way.
Sometimes rape
in terms of our Sexual Offences Act, which has been broadened, rape now is no longer just about penetration, as you said earlier, Sisi, but it's also not just against a woman. It can also be against a man. Because we've had a lot of those episodes as well. So, yeah.
Mpho and Bafana, thank you so much for that invaluable information. Remember, if you are violated, you have the right to be treated with dignity and respect. You have the right to make a statement in your own words and in a private place. You have the right to request that a female officer take your statement. If you are violated, tell someone. It's not your burden to carry alone. And for more information on tonight's show, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Mix It Reach. Until next time, be safe. Woof, woof.